Good afternoon, Chairman Bentz, Ranking Member Huffman, members of the subcommittee. My name is Ellen Medlin Richmond, and I'm a senior attorney with Defenders of Wildlife. Defenders is a national nonprofit conservation organization dedicated to the protection of all native animals and plants in their natural communities. We represent nearly 2.1 million members and supporters throughout the United States. Thank you for inviting me here today to speak about the importance of the Endangered Species Act to conserving imperiled wildlife. I've dedicated my career to advocating for clients, including wildlife that wouldn't otherwise have a voice, in the courts and before agencies and policymakers. Before I discuss the legislation before us today, it's important to first recognize that we're in the midst of a catastrophic biodiversity crisis. We're losing species faster than ever before in human history. Approximately 1 million species worldwide are facing extinction, and in the US, 1 in every 3 species is at risk. Failing to respond to this crisis is not an option. Biodiversity is key to human well-being. Healthy, diverse wildlife and habitats pollinate crops, sequester carbon, keep our waterways clean, and even buffer humans from diseases like Lyme and malaria. Unless we can arrest and reverse extinction trends, we'll continue to see biodiversity lost and experience the fallout of nature's collapse, more frequent pandemics, a hotter planet, and deteriorating human welfare. Our actions now will determine whether our planet will sustain our priceless natural legacy for generations to come. The ESA is the cornerstone of wildlife protection in the US. Since its enactment more than 50 years ago, the ESA has been remarkably effective at protecting our nation's biodiversity. Almost every listed species is still with us today, and hundreds are on the path of recovery. Any changes to the ESA must be judged by whether they stave off extinction and promote long-term, lasting species recovery. Representative Westerman's bill does the opposite by eviscerating the ESA and making it harder, maybe impossible, to address the alarming extinction trends among our nation's wildlife. This bill would damage the ESA and hurt wildlife in so many ways that I can't name them all in 5 minutes, but I'll highlight just 3 of the most damaging provisions in my remarks today. First, under this bill, species nearing the point of no return would have to wait even longer to gain the critical and highly effective protections of the Endangered Species Act, but they'd lose those protections much more quickly. This bill would extend the deadline for placing species on the ESA list, which is a precondition of ESA protection, from 1 year to as many as 12 years, and meanwhile, delistings would go on a fast track. Second, the bill takes a sledgehammer to ESA protections for threatened species, and these include some of our most iconic wildlife, such as the Florida manatee. Threatened species, by definition, are at an inflection point. They're not yet in danger of extinction, but they're likely to become so in the foreseeable future if nothing is done to reverse their trajectory. We should be proactively recovering these species, not pushing them closer to the brink, but that's what this bill would do. It would allow much more taking of threatened species, which is an ESA term of art that refers to killing, injuring, harassing species. Third, this bill would strip away protections for species critical habitat. The ESA protects that habitat because every species needs a place to live. Species can't survive and recover if they have nowhere to go. Yet this bill would create a Byzantine new system for carving out various kinds of land from critical habitat based on complicated new criteria. Even setting aside the damage these carve-outs could do to habitat conservation, they'd be near impossible for the wildlife agencies to apply. At this critical moment for the biological health of our planet, the United States must double down on its commitment to conserving imperiled species and their habitats and preventing extinction. We shouldn't be gutting the laws that protect them. Regrettably, that's what Representative Westerman's proposed legislation would do. We can and we must do better. We are the stewards of our irreplaceable natural heritage. Our children and their children deserve to inherit a healthy, vibrant environment replete with wildlife for all to enjoy. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I'd be happy to answer any questions.